Brandy Brown. This is Jeff Diller. These are entertainment lawyers. These are actually some of the most important people in your career. If you don't have one, I feel sorry for you. But you got two right here that you can do business with after they talk to you guys. They're going to let you know some of the myths and the things about the music industry that people really don't, know about.
I'm obviously a lawyer. I do entertainment work. I started out doing sports. I used to chase NBA athletes and that sort of thing. And one day somebody came up to me and said, ain't you a lawyer now? I got a demo tape that I want you to shop. And that's kind of how I got started. What's important is that you develop a relationship, whether it's me or Brandy or Sluggo or whatever, develop a relationship so that we can do some things not reactively, but proactively. We can say, you know what, you need to be looking out for this. Or let me tell you how to make a little bit more money on this. Or let me tell you what's happening in LA. Let me tell you what reality shows they're looking for, that sort of thing. And the last thing I can say is very, very important today that you kind of get off the block as far as your career. If you're only specifically looking at the sale of units, if that's the only way you're looking at making money, you're going to have a difficult time doing that these days. 95% of the artists who get signed to a major label do not recoup their advance. So if you're in that 95% level, what are you doing, to stay in the industry and to kind of do what you love?
Yeah, the question raises, what really is the music industry these days? Is indeed, are you in the recorded business? Are you in the music industry? And so you have to challenge yourself at looking at that as an artist today. And so what are you actually looking to do next? Are you trying to get signed? Are you trying to get a record deal? And you have to ask, what is your ultimate goal? And if it's that surface, I want to get a record deal, I want to get signed, you're going to miss the whole entertainment industry as it is today. True or false? The revolution in music has not been the music itself, but rather the methodology by which it is delivered and consumed.
True.
True?
Mm-hmm. True.
True? True. It is true. But in addition, it's false in a sense, because when you look at like places where Sluggo's overseas, they're doing a lot of different things in Asia, London, or what they're doing with the music sound. So, my biggest thing is always to look and see what's actually happening out there and don't keep it so local, even though you should have a local emphasis as far as the support makes, but you need to really look at what's going on around the industry, around the world. It's a prime time for artists, managers, songwriters, and everything, because you've taken the power back from a lot of the labels with the advance of technology. The shift is going from the power being to the label, to the individual artists, to the songwriters, to the managers. So if you all don't capitalize on knowing what power you all have and with technology, you're going to, miss a whole bucket of them. Ever watched the show Grey's Anatomy? When they go to commercials, they are showing new independent artists all the time. So you need to find those ways to get your music in a platform where independent artists are kind of just, picking up, or they listen, or people trying Pepsi commercials. There's so much more out there now with independent artists being able to draw and attract a whole different level outside of a regular record. Sure that you understand the power of your track and how do you maintain control over that. And if you're sending it out to different writers, different people to see, can you do something with this track? Is this track hot? And you have to be very careful that as you do that you communicate to them. Some might say, I don't want to be bothered, but you have to let them know, I am sending this to different writers. This is not, come up with some disclaimers. Just because you put some words on this, you don't get any ownership right in my track. You don't get any copyright privileges, in my track. Or vice versa. You might be a lyricist. Somebody sends you a track, but then the track never goes anywhere. But you want to be able to use the lyrics again for another track. So you have to worry about your copyright in that sense, because you don't separate the music from the lyric unless you separately copyright it.
Actually, you get your copyright at the time you write it. And at the time, it's in a tangible form. You actually have it copyrighted. I mean, you write something, it's yours. You record something, it's yours. So she's saying if you got to record something, you do tracks, and you a guy who does lyrics, you can copyright your track. And you can copyright your lyrics. Now, if you all sit down together and you got some lyrics in your head and somebody starts playing at the keyboard or whatever, and you all come up with a song, you're going to have a hard time. Something happens and y'all fall out and you say, I'm taking my lyrics, or the other person says, I'm taking my track. So you're going to have a hard time doing that, because really at that point they both inspired each other. So it's actually both of your songs.